What if I told you that the single biggest expense in your life, your housing, could be cut by 60%? Not in a decade, no, not with some risky investment scheme, but like within the next 6 months. That's not a fantasy. It's exactly what I did. I didn't get a massive raise, I didn't win the lottery, and no, I certainly didn't inherit a fortune. I changed my zip code. Imagine for a moment what you could do with that freedom. An extra $10, $20, even $30,000 a year? That's the kind of money that, pays off debt, builds an investment portfolio, or lets you finally quit the job you hate. It creates a level of financial control most people only dream about. Stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to reveal the exact proven strategy that made this possible for me, and how countless others are using it to completely rewrite their financial destiny. For years, I was living on the hamster wheel. I'm sure you know the one. I had a good job in a major city, I was climbing the career ladder, I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And yet, every single month, it felt like I was treading water. My mortgage was this monstrous, suffocating figure that devoured more than half of my take-home pay. I was earning more money than ever before in my life, but I felt poorer than ever. Does that sound familiar? It's a perfectly designed trap. It's a system where the cost of living, your rent, your food, your transportation, it all rises just a little bit faster than your salary. You get that, 3% annual raise, but then your landlord hits you with an 8% rent hike. Your property taxes jump 10%. You're constantly running, but the finish line just keeps moving further away. My breaking point, my I can't do this anymore moment, came on a miserable, rainy Tuesday. I was trapped in my car, just staring at an endless sea of red brake lights. An hour had passed, and I was only halfway through what should have been a 30-minute commute. And on the radio, some smug voice announced that housing prices in my city had surged another 15% in a single year. And in that moment, something inside me just snapped. I had this crystal clear realization. I wasn't living my life, I was servicing it. My life was just a conduit for paying bills. My home, which was supposed to be a sanctuary, had become a prison of debt. Determined, I knew there had to be another way. That night, I went home and instead of turning on the TV, I opened my laptop. I fell into this deep rabbit hole of research, and I stumbled upon a term I'd never heard before: Geographic Arbitrage. It sounds like some complicated Wall Street jargon, I know, but I promise you, the core concept is stunningly simple and just unbelievably powerful. It means earning money in a strong economy, where salaries are high, and spending that money in a weaker, or at least a more affordable economy. For decades, this was a strategy for international business, but the remote work revolution has completely blown the doors wide open. It has made this the single greatest financial opportunity of our generation. Let me give you an analogy. A dollar is not a dollar everywhere. The true value of your money, it's determined by its purchasing power, what it can actually buy where you live. A salary of, say, $100,000 in San Francisco or New York might make you feel perpetually middle class at best. You're constantly stressed, right? Checking your bank account. But take that exact same $100,000 salary to a place like Indianapolis, Indiana, or Tulsa, Oklahoma, or some beautiful small town in the American South. Suddenly, you're not just comfortable, you are genuinely wealthy. The financial pressure it evaporates. This isn't just theory, it's a mathematical certainty. So, I made a plan. My job had become remote friendly. My anchor was no longer a physical office building, it was my internet connection. I spent months buried in spreadsheets. I used cost of living calculators like NerdWallet and Numbeo, comparing cities I'd never even considered visiting, let alone living in. The numbers I found were absolutely staggering. I discovered, for example, that according to 2024 data, a household earning $150,000 in the Washington, D.C. metro area would only need to earn about $99,000 in Indianapolis to maintain the exact same standard of living. That's a $51,000 difference in annual purchasing power reclaimed simply by changing your address. Fueled by this data, I found my spot. Yeah, a beautiful, growing town in a state with no state income tax. A double win, right? The houses were gorgeous, and they were a fraction of the cost. I ran the numbers again and again, convinced I'd made a mistake. Yeah, it was almost unbelievable. I could buy a home that was 500 square feet larger, yeah, with a yard for my dog, for less than half of what my cramped cookie-cutter townhouse was worth. When the dust settled, my monthly housing payment dropped from $3,500 a month to just $1,400 a month. Let me say that again, right, a 60% reduction. My single biggest expense, the one that caused all my financial anxiety, was slashed by more than half. That's $2,100 a month. That's $25,200 a year post-tax that went straight back into my pocket. That is the first most critical step to true financial freedom. It's not about earning more, it's about keeping more of what you earn. And if you're finding this idea as mind-blowing as I did, and you're seeing a glimmer of hope for your own situation, do me a small favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Right, it's a simple click for you, but it tells the YouTube algorithm that this is the kind of practical, life-changing information people need to see. Right, it helps more people discover that they aren't trapped. Now, while we're on this topic of building real freedom, what I'm describing here is one half of the wealth equation, radically cutting your costs. Right. The other half, of course, is increasing your income. Yeah, it's no coincidence that many people who make this move use their newfound time and capital to start their own businesses. There is an absolutely incredible movement of ordinary people building seven-figure online enterprises using tools like YouTube and AI. Often starting from absolute zero. Yeah, it's not a get-rich-quick fantasy, it's a proven blueprint. Okay, I believe so strongly in this that I've put a link in the description that reveals exactly how they're doing it. Right, think of it not as an ad, but maybe the most valuable resource I can share for mastering the other side of the wealth equation. But here's the part of the story that the spreadsheets and calculators can never tell you. Here's the twist that surprised me the most. The money was the reason I made the jump, but the real life-altering reward was the life I unlocked. I was honestly worried I would miss the big city, the constant energy, the endless options for restaurants, the anonymous buzz of the crowds. And for the first week, maybe I did feel a little out of place. But then something else began to settle in, something I hadn't felt in years: peace. My daily commute went from a soul-crushing 90 minutes in traffic to a 30-second walk from my kitchen to my home office. I did the math on that. That's over 300 hours a year I got back. 300 hours of my life. Yeah, that's time I now spend at the gym, with my family, or just reading a book in my own backyard. The story of a woman named Ayena, who Make My Move helped relocate from Atlanta to a tiny town in Kansas, really resonated with me. Yeah, she traded the gridlock and the skyrocketing rent for morning walks where neighbors actually waved to her. She said she found peace of mind. How much is that worth? You can't put that on a balance sheet. And right now, you might be thinking, this is great for you, a professional with a laptop. But what about me? I'm a nurse, I'm a welder. My job can't be done from a coffee shop. Firm. This is without a doubt the biggest and most outdated misconception about geographic arbitrage. This is not just a game for digital nomads and tech bros anymore. It has evolved. I learned about a man named Sam who moved his family to Jasper, Indiana. He started as a remote worker, but then he was hired locally by Kimball Electronics, a major medical device manufacturer. Yeah, he found a high-skilled, incredibly fulfilling job in a town where he could afford an amazing life for his family. Communities across the Midwest and the South are hungry for skilled workers. They need talent in healthcare, education, advanced manufacturing. Yeah, and here's the kicker.
Some of these communities have relocation programs. Right, they are literally offering cash incentives, $5,000, $10,000, sometimes more, for you to move there. Wow, this completely transforms geographic arbitrage from a selfish solo act into a symbiotic community-building movement. It's no longer just about what's good for your bank account. No, it's about finding a place where you are needed, where you can contribute, and where you can truly belong. So, let's bring it all together. Geographic arbitrage is the most powerful yet underutilized tool for achieving financial freedom in the 21st century. It allows you to dramatically lower your biggest expense, supercharge your savings rate, and accelerate your path to wealth. But more than that, it's a path to a richer life, one with more time, less stress, and a genuine sense of community. It forces you to ask a fundamental question. Are you living in the best place for you, or are you just living in the place you happened to land a job a decade ago? So, I'm genuinely curious to hear from you. For those of you contemplating a change, what's the biggest barrier holding you back right now? Is it A, the